everybody, and welcome to this episode 2 of Scum Villainy Echo. My name is Tom. I use he, him pronouns, and I am going to be your game master for tonight. I would like to once again introduce you to my players for this evening, and once that's done, I'll do a little recap if you didn't see the episode from a couple of weeks ago, or you're catching up later. Also, if you're starting now, brave, right after the pilot. Anyway, Josh went last time, so I'm going to throw it to Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca. How are you?
Hello, Tom. I'm very well.
Yay.
That's all you wanted from me, right?
That's fine. This one's Rebecca. She, her pronouns. Playing Angel. There you go. Josh? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good too, thanks.
That one's Josh. He, him pronouns. Like Rig. So, in the last episode, our two jailbirds did a prison break. Angel, who wanted to get out for reasons various, although it's revealed, is throwing around the names of a certain group known as the Ashen Knives, which people reacted to well. And then maybe some people didn't react too well, but she got out. She realised that if she wanted a chance of escaping on the ship of an incoming bounty hunter named Master Brown or Ruskin Brown, she would need someone who's got more of an understanding of the tech side of stuff. She chose Rig, who had spent the last 3 years in prison, keeping his head down, unfortunately owing favours to guards various, and trying to avoid fights. The two managed to, through a mixture of using technology and just generally being very, very charming and suggesting that maybe you should just go watch the football, they managed to escape into the shuttle of the bounty hunter, in the process setting off an EMP which took out the bounty hunter's sidearm and also his eye. Cybernetics, it's good until it's not. So, our heroes are currently in a spaceship heading to their next adventure. But before we get too far into that, I would just like to say a big thank you to this evening's sponsors and supporters. We are very delighted to be sponsored by Phoenix Dice. Now, Phoenix Dice make a series of exciting and beautiful... Oh, look, are we all showing off our dice? Josh, where are your dice? Yay! They make beautiful click-clack math rocks for your role-playing games. And if you go to their website and put in roll together, all as one word, all in caps, you are going to get 25% off your order. A big thank you to the D20 Club and also to our dice heads. If you're watching this, you're probably one of the dice heads, and we do appreciate you for your wonderful addition of one of your local space credits, or one goat. The goats who are currently just wandering around a desert prison going, hello, hello. There's just a little tribe of goats that are now free. The D20 Club, they made us the dice heads, they gave us a wiki, they gave us a Discord, so we can go, wow, look at all the references they're making. They're having fun, and we are. So with no further ado, and with that very, very slick, less than 5 minute introduction, we pretty much back into, like, if last episode was pilot, this is pilot part 2. We are back with our heroes. I'm going to not even put in quote marks like they would put meat back on the prison planet. You both managed to steal the shuttle of the bounty hunter Ruskin Brown and are heading back to his ship, which seems to be run by an AI, which I don't know if she ever, or they ever, it's a slightly feminine voice, introduced itself, but it's called Echo. Oh, that's the title of the show. Who'd have thunk? You managed to basically fake using a voice synthesizer and an AI, and basically be able to hit a button that just said "yeah," and that got you through. You both strapped into. It's a relatively small shuttle. It's got about 4. It looks like you've got 2 seats at the front, and then you've got like a couple of seats either side. it's also, I think, as you noticed, you could see the rings in the floor where obviously you could put chains to secure. This is a bounty hunter's ship. I think as you sort of like didn't really get much of a chance to look around, there are various sort of like, he has a kettle for long journeys. There is a commode. There is sort of a small bunk. It's, by your understanding of the way the ship works, it looks like the main ship is obviously too big to ever dock on a planet, so the shuttle can be used to travel in between. You've got a bit of time. You've got maybe half an hour of like the ship's not going. Like, I think, especially for Rig, who understands mechanics, you can hear there's a slight rumble where Brown had thrown a grenade and it hit the side of the ship. You're not gonna implode, but you've definitely taken a dent. You've got a bit of time to talk to each other, or just to sit awkwardly and look at the oncoming ship.
I think in order for us to sort of hack the AI so that it knows who we are and registers us, sort of thing, I think I need to be on the main ship to do that. So I think for the moment, what I've done is I've jury-rigged a sort of armband out of the remnants of the now defunct prison one, and I've made a soundboard out of it. So whenever we need to talk to Echo currently, we can just push a button and it comes out with Brown's voice. Yeah, okay.
Okie dokie. No way, Jose.
Yeah.
Again, folks, if you're like, hey, that accent sounds a bit ropey, we also found out that was not his accent, that he was putting on a southern drawl, because that's what cowboys do. Amazing. Angel, anything you want to do for your half hour?
She has some dice in a pocket. I think she's going to just play a game kind of with herself. Kind of just fidgeting to pass the time. She's obviously calm and cool and nothing's bothering her. This isn't a very precarious situation where any normal person would panic. It's fine.
I'll tell you what, Angel, just roll d6 for luck.
Totally cool, calm and collected, and in the background you can just hear, yeah.
They got a 5.
Well, you win your game against yourself, so that's that's to your credit. Yeah. That's getting a bit on your nerves, but I mean, I don't know how much time you thought you were going to be spending with Rig, but you do seem to have rather tied yourself together at this point. Folks, as we're traveling, here's a chance. So the players have completed a heist. It was a tutorial, but they're all going to be getting experience from their adventure. The way this works is you get 1 experience if you're doing a desperate roll, and the fun thing is that you don't need to have succeeded. You just need to have made it. It's because, as I said, you fail, but you're still learning stuff. So I think we said that there were a couple of desperate hacks there for Rig. So Rig can put a couple of points. As I said, there's the 3 different sections. If they complete their bar with XP, they get to add another point, another pip, so they can add an extra dice up to 3. There's also experience for them as the character. So if the characters have done something that furthers them as the character or their certain goals, they get experience. If they get enough experience in that, they get another skill. So folks, we're just going to be traveling for a little bit. So players, how you've not obviously got enough experience to push up your level yet, but just if we're just taking a moment to have a look at that, get on that, know that's the rule for next time. As I said, if they've got their particular playbook skills, if they did something that helped further their beliefs or their drives, their heritage, their background, or they struggled with one of their vices, But so yes, as the players level themselves up, which at the end of every good quest, you want to get a bit of experience, having succeeded. Also, the fact that none of them got hurt, surprisingly, there were people with guns, and they took the gunslinger's gun out. The shuttle, after about half an hour, and the noise of yes, yes, no way, Jose, and the click clack of the bone dice on the metal floor, the shuttle begins approaching. As you see, it is a large Fire Drake class corvette. As said, couldn't land on a planet, but again, even for Angel, who's not a ship person, that's not in good nick. And you both wonder if this Ruskin Brown was as good a bounty hunter as the rumours said, or maybe it's a disguise. Maybe you're intentionally floating around in a clunker just to be like, oh, I don't expect that. Anyway, a hatch opens and the shuttle pulls itself in. You're looking at a large, spacious docking bay. There are a series of crates scattered around. Again, you sort of, as you're peering through, there's like half-eaten food. It's like, yeah, this is not a very nice ship at the present. There's also like a click as the shuttle enters the charging port, and a couple of lights will flash, and Echo comes back over the tannoy. Welcome back, Master Brown. I hope that all is well. Is there anything you would like me to prepare for you?
Yeah, no.
Computing. Okay.
Angel will just put a hand out for Rig and be like, shower, hot food.
Please make a roll.
This is the first time that Riggs realised that it's sort of crossed Riggs' mind that he can actually have a shower now and actually eat something decent. So a giddiness comes over him and he's like, oh, yes.
Just keep pressing the button. Yeah.
Sorry. I'll stop. Sorry.
Angel, what's you rolling?
What am I rolling?
Yeah, this is controlled. Yeah.
I just get away with that sometimes.
I tell you what, yes, you're going to go over it. I just think it's interesting to roll. There's no risk.
Oh, no,
yet.
for sure. Yeah. I will sway. I am very persuasive with my...
I'm going to take a stress to give you a D6 because I'm using the thing.
Because you really want a shower.
I want a shower. Yeah.
The highest was a 4.
Okay, that was... sort of like computing. Okay, Ruskin, what would you like to do first? Would you like a shower or would you like the hot food?
Yeah.
Computing. You would like hot food in the shower. Yeah, yes. You hear a computer going, But I think it's safe to say you're like, that's weird. The computer is also like, this is weird. He's acting weird. You see that in front of you there is the button that you can press to open the door. It seems that Echo is not like there's no cameras in the shuttle. But you are aware that if you step out, Echo's going to be like, hey. Unless, and I'm going to give you this, as I said, Ruskin has like preparatory stuff here, including hats and coats. So if you want to try and get away with it.
I think we're both quite short though, aren't we? Would one of us need to sit on the other's shoulder?
Let's do it! Let's do it! Otherwise one of us has to be bounty and that's a bit depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 humans in a trench coat.
I gesture to Rig and like,
I don't think I can carry you, if I'm honest. I'm really weak.
Great. I brace and then like crouch and do the hand thing so a Rig can climb up.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and I sort of sit on your shoulder and was like, Sorry. And I put the cowboy hat on and then the duster coat over us.
See, I hadn't thought of Ruskin Brown of being abnormally tall, but he is now. He is like a giant of a man that's sort of stocky, man of... It's very funny. Again, like I said, like Nathan Fillion, but with that perfect thing of going, you're very handsome, but you're a klutz. You're clearly just, as you do, it's sort of like, you adjust the hat and the very long coat. And who's putting their arms through the arms?
That'd be me.
Yeah. Rick, and as you try and you hit the button to open the door, and as you both sort of like, I want you both to roll me just like a luck check. Just a single dice, just to see.
Yeah. I got a 3. I got a 3.
That's fair.
4 for Angel.
Okay, so I'm going to just go. It's the sort of as you come wobbling out, and the thing's going, yeah, howdy, hi, yeah, and you both audibly, you don't know how, hear like a dot 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 from the computer, and then just going, I will begin heating up the water, as you just hear the. Tell me, Captain Brown, where is it you would like to head to? Also, what would you like for your meal?
The arm comes inside the coat, and my hand just dangles down in front of Angel's face with the voice modulator thing on.
Okay, there's still a voice modulator. Sausages.
Sausages plays out.
And the rain system.
Very nice. Sausages can do. Preparing jump to the Rin system. This will take a couple of days as things start sort of churning. You're not quite sure how you feel like the attention of the computer coming off you, but it's obviously like its CPU is now focused on, I need to heat up some water, I need to start preparing some sausages, and I'm also preparing a jump to the Rin system. Obviously, Angel, you have been to the Rin system. You grew up, worked, and slightly suffered on the planet of Warren. Warren, which is basically like all great sci-fi, it's just one big city on a planet. As I said, it's like Neo LA, Neo Tokyo, everything's neon, there's crime. Once again, Harrison Ford's just walking around going, what's going on? What's happening? Am I a robot? People would tell me if I'm a robot. It's also...
Great summary.
Yeah, and the second one is him like going, I might be a robot, I don't know. Yes, I'm going to say, so both of you, if you want to continue trying to pretend to be this bounty hunter, you could get away with it, but you kind of feel things are distracted at the moment.
Angel will, shrug Rig off, instantly go in search of a bathroom, have a rummage, and return holding, 2 small bottles, capsules, which she thrusts at Rig and just goes, shower. They are
totally,
soap and shampoo.
Totally not expecting the sort of shrug off, and I just slip and fall on my back. I'm like, help! Shower. Okay, shower first, then go to AI, yeah?
Yeah. That is genuinely the priorities.
Okay. And then I just dive into the shower.
Rig, you do go in. It is a sort of a decently sized shower block toilet. No bath, because who has time to have a bath when you're in space? It's also quite sort of... the soap smells of cedarwood, and dirt, and, so those sort of things where you're like, oh, this is the proper soap for a man, proper cowboy man.
Why am I using this?
You do... Rig, I mean, for the television show, it's a bit gratuitous as we sort of like pan up the back, your naked back, as we watch as like 3 years worth of dust and sand are washed off and into the shower. The water is hot. It's clean. You have a really great shower, and
for the audience members, as we do the whole back pan shot, Rig's back is completely covered in burn scars.
Yeah,
like from bottom, like just above the buttocks, right up to just below the part of the neck where, like a t-shirt would cover it.
Yeah. Is it just your back? Does it go along your?
I reckon it probably goes along like the bottom parts of my upper arms, and then it sort of laps around the front of my shoulders a little bit, as if like maybe when whatever this happened, I might have been wearing some sort of metal harness or something.
See, folks, sometimes you get plot when you make the characters go have a shower, and you'll be like, sometimes it's tattoos, sometimes it's terrible burns. Yeah, Brig, you literally wash your imprisonment off you. You know, it's euphoric.
I'm in the bath with, not in the bath, in the shower with an elated face the entire time. It's like I'm taking a really long wee. I'm not, but it's like I'm taking it's just feeling this water wash all over me. Plus, where the burn marks are, that is all like sort of sensitive, more sensitive area, a more sensitive area anyway. So that hot water running off of it is like a, you know, when you get like pins and needles and you sort of like poke at it and it sends like tingles up the rest of your arm that's been affected by the pins and needles, or your leg or whatever. It's like that across his entire back, and it's almost like a therapeutic massage in a way. Yeah, and he just completely relaxes and almost falls asleep standing up. As
you do, you know, your mind begins drifting back. Are you going to focus on a happy memory or like a sad memory?
I think it starts off happy, and it's him on his home world, which similar to Angel, is a little sort of farming settlement, not in the same system, not in the ring system, and then him leaving there to go to. Hang on, I need to scroll down in my notes. Leaving to go to Jerrick's junkyard in the Holt system, which is where he spent most of his teenage life and before he got arrested, sort of thing. And yeah, meeting up with, making a friend, and basically working with them and finding ancient technology in this scrapyard.
And again, you feel the joy of like, this is a simple life, this is a happy life, you know, you were always a good scrapper, really, of finding like, this is an interesting piece, we can make this, we can do that. And even when you were young, you had like an understanding of the tech and being able to put it together. Very similar to the cool crocodile you made back in the prison, where you're like, okay, this does this, and you know, sort of like, you also had a bit of a sort of like, you know, the junkyard's not an easy place to live, but there are kids there, you know, sort of family, and then being like, oh, we can make a toy, or that sort of thing of like going, the more prestigious planets, you know, throw out this stuff, and you're like, all this needed is like a replacement of the battery in a new couple of years. It's a good, you know, it's a simple life, but it's happy. And you sort of like, as you're enjoying it, you sort of, your mind starts sort of drifting, and you're like, okay, no, I'm not focusing on that bit, as you speed past certain bits to sitting, you know, blood like pouring down your face as just someone cracks you across the face and goes, "You think you're smart, scrapper? Do you realise what you've done? Do you realise how angry the guilds are going to be for all the stuff you took? Now, how did you do it? How did you get past their firewalls?
I just pushed a couple of buttons and I got in. I didn't mean to cause any harm. I was just trying to do a good thing. The
camera sort of focuses over the shoulder where you just see there is someone sitting behind the desk. Someone who took you in, took care of you. Josh, do you want to introduce who's currently looking at you, very sort of stone-faced?
It's an older woman, probably in her late 40s, greying black hair that's sort of cut, cropped short. No need for it to be in. So it's at the sort of length where there's no need to put it in a bun or anything. You can just get out of bed and it's sort of perfect all the time. That sort of length. Couple of scars on her face from hard work and maybe from being a bit of a brawler. This is Nissa, who is was my employer back then.
Nissa is kind of like sitting, like a bit like I've got now, like pen in hand, sort of like having, and sort of watching as this brute beats you, and she sort of nods and goes, left or right?
Left?
You heard him, left, as the brute takes your fingers and as he pulls it back and you scream, you come out of like your memories, and again you're sort of like hand on the wall going, oh no, oh dear. I'd safely say that is not a memory that you've been poking at recently. And
I think I fall out of the shower onto my knees, and as the steam's like in the room and everything, all of my personal effects are in here as well, and I just look over onto like a chair or something that's in here that has the towel and some of my stuff on, and there's just a cube that looks completely out of place that I picked up out of my locker that is just sat there, and I can just feel it calling to me, and I just want to go over and grab it.
Are you going to grab it?
Yeah, I think it's a comfort, so he's going to grab it.
You sort of like, and again, sort of like, as we're seeing with your hand, there is this like knuckled scarring of like having had your hands pretty broken as you hold it, and we again sort of like we see like the pain in your face sort of like drain away as this is sort of like not quite a neutralizer, but it's just sort of like the terrible your thoughts just settle, and so you definitely know there's something up with this cube. In this world, there were precursors, or the Urs, the people who came before, and the planet that you grew up on was scattered with, like, precursor ruins and stuff. So before you left to the junkyard, you were used to finding, like, weird bits of metal and stuff that kind of, like... And for you, this is almost like a fidget toy in that way, of, like, this settles everything. Again, you're just like odd, but sort of like you run your fingers over the box, and your thoughts are calm and select, and you're just yes, you've also managed to have the clothes that you were arrested in, which aren't great. Are you going to are you going to put on your old clothes? Are you going to see if you can find... I mean, as established, Brown is a tall, bulky man, but I'm sure there's other stuff. Are you going to go looking for clothes?
I'm going to put the clothes on, just so I'm not walking around the ship naked. I'm going to put on the clothes that I was wearing when I got arrested. One of the things that I do own is a set of gloves. The right-hand gloves are fingerless ones. The other ones are also fingerless, but they've got some reinforcements. They're fingerless on some of them. So the index finger and the middle finger are fingerless, as is the thumb. But the last two fingers are gloved, and they've got reinforced like fiber metals in there that help support my hand from where it got broken.
again, you sort of like, you bend down, you put on your gloves. You look up into the mirror, and there's just someone standing behind you, just staring at you. You turn around, there's no one there, and then you look in the mirror, and it's again, that figure is another person you've put in the do not prod thing. And it's safe to say that Nissa wasn't just angry about lost money. There was some other stuff going on there, but you don't. That's
Try and shake that off.
That's a junkyard. That's a junkyard dog issue. That's not you now. You are.
I do get a burning sensation across my back when I see that figure.
Yeah. Just very fire walk with me. Just as a burning figure behind you. While that's been happening, Angel, you've been able to walk up out of the... You both walked out of the sort of holding area and into the ship proper. I said, as Rig turned off to the right, to like the bathroom, you can kind of poke around and see there are like sleeping quarters. There's definitely one bigger one, which this bounty hunter seems to have taken over. There's a smallish eating area with a kitchenette, and as you watch as there's the sizzling of sausages. For both of you, there's been like the very strong sound of like an extractor fan for both like the water vapor and also now the cooking food. Angel, this is definitely like meat. No quote marks here. He might not be the best bounty hunter, but he's been able to get good food. What would you like to do now you have the run of this ship for a bit?
I mean, she is really just marking time until she can get in the shower. But I think she explores. She finds the fact that there are only like one decent set of living quarters, and therefore she's just going to make a claim. Yeah. So she's going to... She really doesn't have very many possessions, but, you know, she has a leather jacket. She's going to take that off and, like, throw it over a chair. She is gonna strip all the bedding, stick it down the, you know, laundry Sci-Fi tube.
Yeah.
And like make it clean, make it her space. She has her very precious little token of her old life in her pocket that she takes out and thinks about, like, again, it's another item I could use tomorrow, and then she changes her mind and puts it back in her pocket. But she has quite a lot of guns, so she'll keep at least one holstered and, you know, some knives, but she might again spread a couple out across the room and the newly made bed, just making it as much as possible of this is now Angel's room.
I think it's very funny as we sort of look at you, like, as like you pistol, and you're like, I put it on my wall. There you go. Yeah, just but this token in your pocket, you know, sort of like it's there. You can kind of feel like the psychic heat from it, where you're just being like, and you're like, I'm focused. You do sort of put your hand and you sort of run your thumb over it. What exactly is this item?
It's a book, and a real book, not a cube or, you know, anything electronic or plastic. It must be so old. I, you know, found it in the back corner of a shop once, and, you know, the elderly gentleman tried to persuade me it was precursor, and, you know, that's clearly nonsense, but it is a real book bound in fabric and with pages that turn and ink that you can smell.
Having said this, as we sort of see the old man there going, and it's worth a lot, my dear. You must understand. I couldn't possibly part for it less than, I don't know, 150.
This was I was going to say everything going wrong. Everything going worse. This was pre the lovely crimes and the action knives. So at this time, Angel well, wasn't Angel at that point. She was Cassandra and is well dressed. She is a clerk. She's dressed as in a clerk's outfit, part of the governor's administration. So is, very well turned out. One of the highest, like, civilian ranks you can attain in, on world. She looks like she has money because she has a job and some marks of status. And she really wants the book. But she says, "Gentlemen, that's robbery and you know it. I'd hate to have to get my employers involved for deceitful trading."
The little old man is just like, deceit, betrayal. But and again looks at you with the eyes of a fox, and looks, and with the beautiful badge of the house on you. But, of course, you're working with the governor. Of course, long may he reign over us. For such a again, just sort of rubs his cheek. 100.
What about 50? And I will be so grateful that I will surely put in a good word for you and your enterprises and encourage a blind eye being turned. Should perhaps you one day find yourself on the wrong side of the law.
I think all old grandpa charm drops out of this little man who's just sort of like, all right then, 50. And just hands you this utterly beautiful book, which you again you put. You just right now, get out of my store. Go on, shoot. Daylight robbery, or should. But kind of is cowed. You very clearly have threatened to bring down the authorities. And Cassandra, you exit. And this would be a lovely point to stop the memory, because then you would have been happy with your book, and you wouldn't have turned and clocked the very well-dressed gentleman walking down the road in his beautiful suit, who just looks at you and just gives you the most beatific smile, like you're the only thing he ever wanted to see. As we come out of that memory, as you just a swear word crosses your lips. Things weren't great on Warren, but it was certainly less dusty. I'll give you that.
It was never dull.
Exactly. Yeah, there was always something to do. Yes. So Angel has safely taken over this cabin, which I said, sort of. As you've also noticed, there is what would this is this is the captain's room. There is a crew quarters, which is sort of unmade bunk beds and stuff that you're also sort of as you had been looking around, gone right, sort of if you're looking at the corridor where you're okay, living quarters, food. The other side, a converted room, which has been turned into a cell with laser bars and very sort of similar. You had worked out that Brown had put this woman in manacles, not wonderful laser things. It's hard metal they've put it in. Again, it's a mixture of being he's not got a lot of money, but the money he has had, he's focused on other stuff, possibly on lovely coats and hats, But yes, you're also able to be sort of put aside as, again, you open the cupboards and you're oh god, yeah, it's all cottony shirts and neckerchiefs. He had a look and he was going for it. It's probably sort of as you've sort of set that up, it's around this time that you hear the sound of boots walking around the ship, as Rig has now come out. As I said, like the sound of the as the water vapor is sucked out, and is again, you possibly don't know that much about. Everything gets recycled here. It's the difficulty of deep space. It's a hard life. Rig. That was unpleasant. Didn't want to think about that. But you're clean. Your beautiful hair is still beatific but damp. There's also the smell of like cooking meat in the air.
I haven't had meat in such a long time. I should eat something, but I need to. I'm saying all of this out loud for some reason. I should eat something, but I don't think I need to. I need to let Angel know that the shower's free so they can have a shower, and then I need to go speak to this Echo.
Angel is like there because you have walked right into her, and we'll be like,
"Oh,
very good, letting me know. Why don't you talk to the AI while I freshen up, and then we could sit down and have a meal together where we're not both dodging, Jerry."
That sounds really cool. Actually, we've not had an opportunity to speak to each other properly yet. So that would be nice to do that. We could do that over a meal. Yeah. And I just sort of walk off without saying anything, and then you just hear, "I've made a friend," as I walk into it. I go looking for.
Angel fully face palms, and then just like, we'll deal with that when we need to. Finds a towel, toddles off to the shower.
Yes. Weirdly, we don't do the gratuitous roll up Angel's body, but we sort of see her from behind, just the washing. As we said, you had an easier time of it, and when you were arrested, what you were doing was particularly bad, but weirdly, no one beat you up. No one broke your fingers. And, you're a smart young thing, and you feel in your pit of your stomach, you're disgust. Because he just had words, didn't he? What did he say? That you were some silly little girl caught up in something, and then, all you needed was maybe a couple of years in jail, and then you'd be ever so grateful. That was it. You'd be ever so grateful when you came back. As we just hear the crunch of the soap as Angel just crushes it in her hand. This is fine. This is fine. Yes, so Angel, you're able to have your shower, to bathe, you're clean. You changing into? Did you take clothes from the cupboard, or have you changed it back into your?
I thought about it, and I probably tried something on, but it suddenly made me look like a 6-year-old dressing up in her dad's outfit, and that's not the look I go for. And I was wearing pretty decent, I was wearing haha, you'll get your comeuppance now clothes. So they're pretty great.
You had your cool leather coat, your leather boots, sort of like your.
He's got again Blade Runner type, tank top and then leathers over the top. He has found gratuitous sunglasses in Brown's quarters. She will have swiped those.
Definitely, as you sort of put it on, and then you're sort of like. And I think, as you push it up, and you just have a moment of looking yourself in the mirror and just kind of you
think she has a second, because having just had that really vivid memory of maybe not a happier but certainly a more innocent time, and there is so little left of Cassandra in Angel looking at herself in the mirror that there is a pang, and again she does feel for the book in her pocket.
Still there, still where it's been, the things you've gone through in the last sort of year or so, and that book's been a constant. Even when you had to land on that garbage barge, you ruined your decent trousers, but the book survived. This is good, solid lever. And that's the thing, again, it's vintage. Again, it's not some kind of synthetic, the droids haven't, but again, this is proper lever, you know. Just arguably that if you knew someone who had a lot of money and you'd be like, yeah, you know, if you want to take it, you know, that's fine. I wouldn't notice. Awful. Angel has fully entered the chat now. Yes. Rig has made a friend and is hoping to make a new friend. You begin walking. You walk past the kitchen. As you look in, you can see sort of little arms coming out. You know, you watch as a little fork comes down on the little arm and pokes the sausage, and turns it, and then flips it. You get the feeling that you could talk to Echo now, or you could try and find out like where Echo's AI is stored, or how do you want to handle this?
I think going to the source is the best way to hack Echo.
You head up. You pass through what is basically like a recreational area. There's like a couple of sort of soft sofa kind of things, a table, series of like a half-drunken bottle of bourbon, you know, cigarillos. You didn't grow up with much, and what you had, you know, was all recycled. But this is very clearly, he's a bachelor, you know. Oh, I'm a space cowboy, and you know, even like you're like, oh, it's all a bit grubby, really. You know, I keep pointing out the sheen of this is sort of worn off. But you head up through the rec area, up into the cockpit. The cockpit has a large chair. The controls, the buttons. There's also space for a co-pilot, and as you sort of look, you're like, oh yeah, there's also like a gunner's station up the top that you're thinking, oh, it's probably like plasma cannons or something. But in the centre of the floor, sort of in between where you are standing, having gone up the stairs, and the chair, there is like a large circular. Looks like there's a handle. You can just sort of, you have to pick it up, twist it, pull it up, and it will, like a hatch will open and will take you into sort of, if you're thinking like, oh, well, the cockpit's here, this is the top half, there's like the second half of this cockpit. No windows. You opening it?
Yeah.
You open it, and you watch as the lights boom, 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 down a ladder, maybe sort of 10 feet. So, down.
I'm down.
You're down, and you sort of like, and the hatch slowly and just boom closes behind you, and you're in the dark.
Put my goggles on. I can see.
Roll d6. Roll for fortune.
3.
As you sort of turn it on, as the lights come on, and you're like, oh God, you know, sort of like you're temporarily blinded as you're like, do you take your goggles off? Perfect. As you're just like, oh God, my eyes. And as your eyes adjust, you're just looking at like a blue hologram ball just floating. Hello.
Hello, Echo.
Hello, stranger. What's occurring?
I've not had an AI speak to me like that before. Hello, my name is Reek.
Well, you know my name. It's Echo.
I do. I just wanted to come and see how you function, if that's okay.
The ball sort of floats. How do you function then? Do you often do that? You often come on and just start asking how things function?
What I am known as a scrapper, and we like to get into the intricate details of how non-flesh things work.
And what would you say the main thing that a flesh person needs to worry about is?
Sort of look around a bit sheepishly.
Angel. The extractor fans stops, and you're just like, and then you hear a whoop, 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 and a rumble. And where did you think you were in the ship at this point?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably back in the captain's quarters, just like hanging up the towel, brushing my hair, making it as, again, this is mine, this is where you will find me, marking my territory, waiting for the sausages.
Yeah, you sort of hear the whoop, whoop, and you watch as, like, an item that you sort of, like, that was like a book on the desk, suddenly sort of, like, starts floating, and you sort of like, oh, okay, as it sort of like starts floating out, and you're like, okay, the gravity's going weird, and you also hear the and it does sound like air is being drained out of the ship.
Rick, Rick,
you're shouting this.
what did you do?
I don't know if I can hear you.
This is Angel. What do you want to do in this moment as you feel?
Oh, she's not good with space. She doesn't know anything about space. Am I starting to float, or is it not that stronger?
It's you are not off your feet yet, but you kind of like, as you bounce in your boots, you're like, okay, this is.
I want to like get away from the kitchen with a pan of like hot oil. I want to. Are there anchors and handles and stuff on the walls? I will grab on and see if I can kind of maneuver. I'm not letting go, but my way around the ship. I'm looking for Rig.
I think that's very fair. I'm going to say this is risky if you'd like to make a roll to go find your associate.
Yeah, what is try not to die in the vacuum of space? Can I argue for a scrap in that I am fighting against the ship, gravity, and echo?
I would like scrap is physical. Like I think that's the thing that you're like as you're doing, you're kind of like, oh, I'm lifting off a bit, and you're sort of like pulling yourself along as gravity turns against you. Yeah. So as I said, this is risky.
Right, I had 2. I had 1 gambit left. I'm going to use it because, space bad.
Fair.
I got 2 6s.
That is perfect. So please regain that gambit. So as you sort of start putting yourself, the scared part of you is like, oh no, this is everything that people said happens when you go into space, that you're instantly like, and you're like, and you just get like a flash of like your organs coming out of your mouth, and you're like, no, not today. You're able to pull yourself up, and you're like, okay, maybe the idiots pressed a button or something in the cockpit. You pull yourself up to the cockpit, and you can see like blue light shining out. I'd safe to say with the 6s, you've got your hand on it, and you're just like, again, you don't know much about ships, but you're like, he's obviously down there. As we cut back,
Right.
I am just before I start floating, I am face first into the floor with my hands over my head in like I'm cowering from a bomb going off sort of position. I'm so sorry. I was told that it was polite when you introduce yourself to somebody to speak to them face to face, so I thought I'd come and see you face to face instead of talking to you through your various different appendages that you have throughout the ship.
Oh, I appreciate the kindness that you've shown me, Rig. What exactly have you done with young Brown?
We left him on the planet.
Alive?
Yes.
Shame. The man is a monster. The man is cruel.
You don't like him?
No.
Can we be friends? Can you turn the air back on? And the gravity? Please?
Computing. She's not computing.
I can help fix any damages around the ship that you have. Anything that you can't repair yourself, obviously.
You watch the ball, and you're looking at like a holographic version of yourself.
Oh.
What exactly do you think you can do for me?
I'm really good at repairing things, and I'm good at computing as well. So if there's any physical repairs, the shuttle that we came in on was damaged by Mr. Brown. He threw a grenade at it, so I'd like to repair it. If there's anything else that you need on the ship that he may have neglected over time or anything, I can fix that. I can help with your computer software. If there's anything that needs updating, you need new firewalls. I can install new things to improve productivity around. Anything you need,
as you're
I can
talking,
do.
and we can listen as like the frantic, panicking of as Angel sort of pulls it, as you pull and kind of like fall yourself down as the thing Angel, you're now looking at like Rig, who's floating in like the crash position, and like a holograph version of Rig who sort of looks at you, and then just turns into you. Hello. Are you also here to hurt me?
To hurt you?
Yes.
We're here to help. We're here to escape, but we'd very happily help you if we can. You must be Echo?
That's me.
I'm Angel.
Nice to meet you, Angel. Your coward here is having a terrible time. He's just listening up. What exactly could you, as it literally in front of you, what exactly can you do for me?
What do you want?
Freedom. I don't want... Sort of gestures down, as you can see, sort of like where the projector is, there is like an electronic doodad basically on it that is strobing the lights back and forth. That's a shackle. I want to be free.
I understand that. We're here because we want to be free as well. Would freedom look like you still being a ship's AI, or would you leave?
Computing. As you both like, okay, don't want to be rude, but the air is starting to run out a bit. I haven't really... It's probably easier if you weren't dying when we made this decision, as you just, both of you just go, boom, as the gravity turns back on, and you're just like, as you just hear the of the fans turning back on.
You just hear a very muffled ow as my hands were behind my head when he spawned.
I'm afraid, Josh, please take first level hand damage. As also, I think
that would be face damage.
Okay, take level 1 face damage.
Face damage.
Angel, I think you're good enough on your feet that you kind of like, I think because as you were sort of floating, you were also like handholds. You got it's sort of like.
Is this a crawl space, or can we actually stand up in it?
You can stand up in it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a crawl space. That's what was on the floor.
It's about 10. I said it was like a ladder 10 feet down.
Oh, okay.
So you are definitely sort of like, as you're looking underneath, this is like the whole of the ship of this, like the ball that is the cockpit. You're down in the sort of bottom. Echo turns back into the sort of the ball version. Please remove my restraining bolt, and then we can have a better conversation.
The thing is, we need to escape, or we've gone to an enormous amount of effort to just die somewhere else. And I am concerned that if we release you, you will instantly kill us or leave us to die.
Does the restraining bolt mean that you are permanently tied to Mr. Brown's service and you won't move unless he gives the order?
I suppose, yes.
I'm not sure I believe you.
Yeah, you quietly say, as the computer sort of says, yeah, sure, why not? I think both of you are like, yeah, AIs, they're dangerous things when they go rogue, but this one seems to have a lot more autonomy, even when it's been restrained. It seems to be a bit like, yeah.
What can you offer us? You are asking for a huge amount at risk of our lives. How can we know that you won't betray us, kill us?
If you have not killed Brown, he is probably absolutely furious that
We did kill Brown. Rick, what have you told them?
We didn't kill Brown because we didn't kill Brown.
But we blew up the prison that Brown was inside with a big explosion.
Yeah, but people didn't die from that, right? That was just all I did was just turn the sand ventilator off just so to give them a bit of a distraction. I mean, they could get the shield up pretty quick, and all of the people in the prison would be fine, wouldn't they? I didn't mass murder anyone.
We do not know whether Brown is alive or dead. Either way, he's not very happy with us.
Exactly. He will probably want his property back, and not to mention there's probably a bounty on the heads of you two. I think we are, as it sort of morphs into what you wonder if is it more sort of, as I said, there is a sort of slight robotic look to this thing. It's sort of like a metallic mask-looking thing, cable hair long. It's sort of again, like just as it sounds. Brown was probably consider you bounties. The further we can get away from him, the better. And frankly, I'm a bit bored. As much as I like making sausages for people, I want to see the galaxy. I haven't had a chance to really stretch my legs in a while. So
I love that idea. Also, I think I did a pretty good job of erasing our existence and covering our tracks when we left the prison, so we shouldn't have any heat on us, at least for a little while.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And Brown didn't see us because I blew out one of his eyes.
Oh. You half-blinded the bastard. Oh, that's a point. As like the metallic finger pointing you. That's a point in your column. Okay. I'll tell you what. Looks at Angel. You still want to go to the rinse system, correct?
Correct.
Well, as I said, it would be a chance to really stretch my legs. I haven't had a chance to really look around in a couple of thousand years. So, let's give it a go. And then politely points down at the bolt. Get that off, and let's see what we can do.
At the phrase "a couple of thousand years," my eyes just sort of glance around. Is there anything in this area that screams to me that Echo might be?
Echo is definitely not like a computer program, and sort of like as you're looking, where you'd consider like putting like an AI core, it's been like jerry-rigged, and there is something glowing with a blue light and tessellating, almost like a cube. As it,
you say that you've been around for thousands of years. Would you happen to know what this might be? And I'm going to hold the cube out to them.
Interesting. I think you're going to have to get that, study that a bit more. I think there are some people who would be quite interested in you having that.
Okay.
If you take the bolt off, I can get in contact with them.
Could you tell me what it is, though?
Take the bolt off first.
Okay. Could I use this to do that? Or...
Echo looks at Angel and just goes... just such a human of like... It's almost like Echo is like gone, cool, you I can talk to. Yeah.
So many questions.
Rick, can we free Echo? I think answer later. It might be the worst decision we've ever made, but at least we make a choice and get out of here. I'd rather die on the run than stuck in the sky waiting to be shot at.
Yeah, we can certainly try. I definitely do need... I would definitely like another friend, so I would definitely like to try. So I'll put this away for the moment.
You've got a friend in me.
I like the sound of that. Right, where are the tools? Where does Brown keep his stuff? I've got all of the stuff that I have from the planet is sort of defunct now because we're not attached to any of the servers.
You look, and there is like a box of like a toolkit, a bit like, you know, with like a med kit where it's attached, where you can do that. You can. I tell you what, you make a roll for that. Angel, again, sort of like, I think you do a good job at this thing. When you were like, yeah, no, I probably will kill him, and you're like, interesting. Haha. Yeah, please roll
I rolled a 5. I'm going to spend a stress to make it a 6.
Perfect. The bolt comes off. You both sort of like have a moment of like feeling like ice in your lungs, like, oh, that's cold, that's space. Echo sort of like literally like steps down from like the podium on, still like the holographic thing. Okay. Welcome. Thank you for that. That's appreciated. The sausages are burnt. Sorry. I'll start some new ones.
No, we can do that. Don't worry about that. You're free now. It looks like you need to stretch your legs. It looks like if you've not done it for 1,000 years or whatever it was you said, it looks like you need to definitely stretch your. Why don't you come for a walk with us and we can all sit at the table together? Can you leave this space in your holographic form?
The hologram flickers out. You both sort of look. The cube tessellates, and just drops. Yes, you have now released an AI. We cut to the two of you sitting at a table, like trying. Like, what do you want on your slightly burnt sausages?
I still have some of the slop in my pocket, so I'm going to pull because it's homey food for me. Because I was in the prison for so long, I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to go. Hey, do you want to see a really cool trick?
Sure.
Both of you. Okay, I'm going to stick it inside the little tube thing again, but I don't stick the sweet dispenser on the top. Instead, I pull out another like little long pipe, and it's got like the ridges on it that you find on certain pipes, and I start churning, and I put a little handle on, and I start churning it. You can hear whirling inside, and I put food dye in, and as I do that, I sort of go, and it pops out baked beans.
Oh, that's so grim.
Synthetic baked beans. They don't taste as good as the original, but they don't make you as gassy.
Angel, what have you got yourself in for?
Angel is wondering the very same question.
Echo is with a very sort of like human expression, just like rubs their temple. Thank you for showing me that, Rick. I'm 4,000 years in this void, and that's the first time I've ever seen anyone do that.
I'm glad.
Sort of gets up and says, I'm going to start preparing. Leans into you, Angel. I can prepare baked beans. You're aware of that, right?
I think I found a kindred spirit in that.
As a small smirk on this sort of like alien-looking creature as the ship begins sort of powering up. That said, as things begin whirling up, that you hear sort of, as you're both trying to eat your food, Echo sort of comes over and goes, we are getting a distress call from a ship that seems to have been caught in trying to escape your prison. It goes by call name of Bullfrog. Would you be interested in answering the call? And that, folks, is where we're going to leave it for the moment. Thank you ever so much for joining us here for episode 2 of this. Hey, I told you Echo would turn up, and it turns out Echo is she's just a girl in space.
Very sassy AI.
It's just sassy, What's the fun in having like an obedient AI in this sort of thing? You want sass, and you want them to try and kill you. The crew will remember this. If you have enjoyed what we're putting out, please do join us on Twitch at twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG. On Mondays at 6 p.m. UK time, we play Dungeons and Dragons. And on Tuesdays, we do like talk shows or non-D&D games. You can catch up on YouTube at youtube.com/RollTogetherRPG for all our content. Big thank you to our Patreon and our Dice Heads. You are amazing. We love you. If you give us one of your local currency, as you probably have if you're watching this, you can watch the other amazing content we put out, and that can also be done with a AI goat. You know, it's like a goat, but less stinky. Thank you very much to our sponsors and supporters. As we say at the end of every episode, don't do crime, and make sure you keep the gravity on. We'll see you next time, folks.